Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's a day since my last confession. If you can call that one a confession, I was basically a hero. I've definitely sinned this time. But I'm not sorry. I tied Quentin up pretty well, so I wasn't worried that he might escape or attack me when I opened the boot, but it'd make things easier if he was unconscious, so I waited till the middle of the night. Sure enough, he was sleeping like a baby. An evil baby that tried to kill the woman I love. Well, I had a surprise for him. When he woke up, it was a pleasure to watch him work out what had happened. He was tied to the railing on that platform in the tunnel, exactly as he'd left Elizabeth for 4 days. I was going to give the bastard a taste of his own medicine. I don't think he appreciated the effort it had taken to get him there. I'd used a wheelbarrow for most of it, but carting him up that ladder was a hell of a job. I'm amazed he slept through it. Maybe I hit him harder with that rock than I realised. Then I just sat there with my torch in my lap and waited. I could have given him a shake, I guess, but I wasn't in any rush. I was enjoying the anticipation. He was all, what the fuck? I was pointing the torch at him, so he didn't know who'd done this, and I don't think he was in any state to work it out. I didn't do him the same courtesy I'd done Elizabeth and turned the torch on myself. I didn't want to make this easy for him. I was all, "You're really not very good at killing me, are you?" He was all, "You, let me out of here, I'll fucking kill you." I was all, "Well, that's really not much of an incentive to let you out then, is it?" He made a few more threats, and I laughed them off. It was funny, this pathetic, helpless creature acting like he was the big man. After a while, he realised this approach wasn't going to get him far, and he changed his attitude. He became more repentant, but it was so sudden, this switch, that it was hardly credible. He said, "Look, I'm sorry, okay? I know I shouldn't have done what I did. Trying to get my hands on the rights to the jingle, well, you can understand that, can't you? It was worth millions. I was desperate. People do silly things when they're desperate. I just let it go too far." I was all, "Don't give me that crap. Your plan all along was to kill Elizabeth. Even before the day in the hospital, she was doomed the moment you met." He was all, "That's not true. I was never going to kill her, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I'm not a good man, but I'm honestly not as bad as you think." I knew this was bollocks, of course. I said, like hell you weren't going to kill her. What would be the point in that whole business with a will if she had a long and healthy life ahead of her? And he was all, "Didn't you know? Elizabeth's got a terminal illness. She'll be dead in a year." I said, "What are you talking about?" He was all, "Lung cancer. You must know she's always been a smoker. When I first found out about the jingle, I was annoyed it had been inherited by someone so apparently young and healthy. Like I say, it would never have crossed my mind to kill her. But then I found out about the cancer and the plan came together. It's sad, of course, but if someone else is going to get that fortune, it's going to be me." I was all, "This is bullshit. If she'd got cancer, she'd be having chemotherapy. I carried her down that ladder yesterday. I think I'd have noticed if she was wearing a wig." He said, "She's not having chemotherapy. Her odds of survival were so low she decided not to make her remaining months even more painful." I assumed you knew all this. You seem to know everything else. I couldn't believe it. Oh, I didn't want to. I asked him, "How advanced is it?" He said 9, 10 months. And that was such a relief to hear. Quentin didn't understand why I was laughing. I was all, "You really don't know what you've got mixed up in, do you? I've been obsessed with Elizabeth until 6 months ago. I stalked her every move. I bugged her phone. I read her mail. I broke into her GP surgery and went through her medical records. As I recall, she had eczema and an ingrowing toenail. Neither was terminal." Quentin was all, "Jesus, all right, I lied. Of course I was going to kill her. I'm a bastard, I admit it, and you know what? You are too. If you let me die, you're no better than I am. You hear that line a lot in movies. We can't kill the bad guy or we're as bad as him. I've always thought it's bollocks. I was all murdering an innocent woman for money is a bit worse than killing an evil shit like you to protect said innocent woman. He was all, you don't need to kill me to protect her. What, you think I'll go through with it now? Get her to make a public statement about the jingle, else she'd categorically never leave it to me. Then any will I make her sign loses all credibility. If you let me die, you're doing it out of hate, and that will be forever on your conscience. I was all, okay, you can relax, I don't want to kill you. You'll be spending a few days down here, drinking dirty water out of a trough. We'll see how you like it. But after that, as long as you cooperate, I'll let you go free. He was all, cooperate? What do you want from me? I said, for a start, I want to know whether I can find your copy of the jingle and the contract. You must have one, or how could you have known about it? Elizabeth's got a little bit totally destroyed. He was all, of course I've got a copy. I came across them in the Fenimore Carter archives one day. Couldn't believe what I was hearing at first. A jingle to the tune of Yesterday, written in the 50s. You know the story, of course. How it came to McCartney in a dream. I was all, yes, I don't want a history lesson. I just want to know where they are. He said, fine, I'll tell you. They're no use to me now anyway. Is that all? I was all, no, that's not all. There's one more thing I want from you. I love Elizabeth. She means everything to me. I've always loved her, and I've always wanted to, and I would do anything to make her mine. And yet, despite all that, she isn't interested. We had one date, and then, I don't know. She never told me why it ended. But you didn't give a shit about her. You were going to kill her for fuck's sake, and yet, you succeeded where I failed. You got the girl. He was all, what are you getting at? I still don't know what you want from me. I was all, isn't it obvious? If you want to get out of here alive, you've got to teach me how to make Elizabeth love me.